I work the night shift at a hotel across town. It's nothing special, just cleaning rooms when people check out. I live in a building about 3 miles away. Nothing special either, just a regular 12-story apartment complex. You know, like the ones with the elevators that go ding and make you feel slightly uncomfortable. I usually take the bus to work, but sometimes late at night I'll get the bus back. So I have to take the elevator alone, and the creepiest part is there is no 13th floor. The entire building skips it like they did the whole number in the original blueprints and replace it with an emergency exit stairwell. One day, as I got off the bus around midnight, it started raining and I figured I am gonna get wet either way, so why not save a few minutes? I hit the button for the 5th floor. The door slid open and I stepped in. It was just me again. As the elevator rose, I stared at the panel where the button should be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It lit up as normal. But then all the lights started flickering at once, and the numbers went dark one by one until every single button was completely dark. Then they all flashed for a split second, and the power to the whole car seemed to go out. For just a moment, before everything flickered back on. But then something very wrong happened. The floor indicator started moving again, counting upwards from the 5th floor. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it stopped. It didn't stop on 12. It went right through it and lit up the number 13. That's impossible because there's number 13th floor. My building doesn't even have a 13th floor. That's just how they built it. This floor doesn't exist. I don't know what happened. I panicked, hit the down button, but it didn't move. It kept counting upwards. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and it just kept going. Then the emergency lights started flashing and a voice crackled over the intercom. Someone's trying to hack into the system. Please exit the elevator immediately. There's been a power surge on the 13th floor. This isn't possible. Like I said, there's number 13th floor. What am I gonna do? And then the elevator lurched to a sudden halt and the doors opened. I could see a dim red light coming from inside the hallway, but there was no sign or numbers, and it was empty. I could hear dripping water somewhere far off in the distance. And then, as I stepped out onto this floor, I noticed that every single wall looked identical. All plain white and unmarked, like the hallway had no beginning and no end. And then I pulled out my cell phone to call for help, but it said no signal. There was no service on this floor. I tried the elevator button, but it didn't respond. I couldn't get back out. I thought I'm probably just gonna find another elevator or something. There's no way they actually let someone die in here. So I walked further down the hall. But after a minute, I realized I hadn't heard a single sound other than my own footsteps. There were no birds, no cars, no buzzing electronics, nothing. It was just completely silent. Then, as I turned toward the end of the hallway, I saw one door. It was slightly ajar, just enough for a small sliver of red light to come out from underneath it. I pushed it open and it creaked very slowly as it swung inward. And on the other side was a bedroom. I stood there for a moment, stunned by what I was seeing. I knew that room. It was my room. I live in apartment 5B. I walked in and I found photographs of myself sleeping in my own bed. They were recent pictures taken just a few days ago. And all along the walls were newspaper clippings from different months and years, all talking about tenants going missing from this building, and one article in particular caught my eye. It was dated next week, and it showed my own face as a missing person. It said local handyman vanishes after late night elevator ride. Did he fall to his death on the 13th floor? Suddenly, I could hear footsteps starting to echo behind me in the hallway. I spun around to see what was out there, but there was nothing, only the door swinging slowly shut by itself. I backed away from it and hurried into the kitchen to get out of there. As I ran for the elevator, adrenaline pumping, I realized the hallway might have been a loop, because I passed the same door again and it was wide open now. I ignored it and sprinted down the hall, desperate to escape before whatever was out there could catch up to me. At last, I found the elevator and stumbled inside. I could barely breathe, my heart pounding in my chest. The doors closed behind me, and I pressed the down button. But when they opened, instead of taking me to the ground floor, I was met with a single button reading B for basement. Of course, I pressed it. The doors slid shut and the elevator started moving downward. But when it reached the bottom, the basement door wouldn't open. Something was blocking it. I pounded on the door and screamed for help, but no one came. After a few moments, the doors finally opened and I stepped out into what seemed to be the same hallway I'd seen before, but this time it was darker and colder. I could feel a damp, stale breeze blowing past me. And standing in front of me was a dark figure. It hadn't moved. It hadn't made a sound. And when I took a step back to try and get around it, it seemed to sense my movement and slowly turned its head toward me, revealing two glowing red eyes. It whispered, "You came early. That wasn't supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be here." Then it stepped out of the shadows and vanished. I woke up next morning sitting on the curb outside my apartment building. A security guard came over asking if I was okay. I told him I needed to report something. I said, "Do you have any cameras? Any surveillance footage?" He said, "Yeah, we have cameras in the lobby and in the elevator shaft." He pulled up the CCTV on his phone and showed me the clip from the elevator. You could see me entering on the 5th floor, but when the camera panned out to show the rest of the cabin, you could see a dark figure standing behind me. It didn't look like it was moving, like it was floating there. And then the camera panned away as I stepped off on the 13th floor and it cut out. There was no signal on that floor. The building management had no record of it. So we checked the footage from the lobby cameras. It showed me entering the building and then it showed me walking back out with my stuff, like I'd just moved in. But there was no footage of me going into the elevator or disappearing. And then he showed me the last clip from the basement. It was pitch black. But as soon as I stepped out, you could see the dark figure walking toward the camera, stopping right in front of it and waving. So I've never been back since. Do you want to take the elevator alone tonight? Would you press the 13th floor if it showed up? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe for more real horror stories from forgotten places, including our series Forgotten Nightmares and our new series Unexplained. Don't forget to comment if you liked it and share it with a friend who is brave enough to take the elevator alone. Thanks for watching. See you next time